Yeah, so good evening, everyone. Welcome to our webinar on the awareness session on commodity indices future. In this webinar, M6 India officials, Mr. Muttappa, sir, is going to talk about upcoming indices futures on bullions as well as the base metals. Also, he is going to talk about gold mini options, which M6 is going to launch very soon. So, so let's hear from Muttappa, sir. Yeah, Muttappa sir, you can join now.
Okay. Good evening, guys. This is as Shubham introduced. I'm Muttappa, and I have been with MCX for more than a dozen of years. Must be this is around the 14th year that I'm in. I'm very happy to be here. I've seen the exchange growing, from I can say from baby, right? And these 14, 15 years, we have seen so many products coming. Some have done very well, some have not done too well, right? But one thing I can tell you that we have always been innovative, and we have given the market the innovative products. So we have two things to discuss today. Well, we'll be discussing in the beginning, the first few minutes, maybe around half an hour, we'll be discussing on commodity indices. Very, very interesting thing for all of you. Okay, and in the second half, we'll be talking about you know gold options on the mini contract, on the 100 grams contract, which could be a real winner for most of the retail customers. Okay. Before I start, I would like to thank Fires. I would like to thank my colleagues Vidya and Suraj who have been helping me to do this. And well, again, thank MCX for giving an opportunity to do this small webinar. So I'll be basically switching on to the presentation now, and all of you, whatever questions you have, whatever apprehensions you have, just note it down so that we could discuss, deliberate on that after we finish this small presentation, whatever we have. Please remember that we have got this instrument index after a very long time, after 14, 15 years, as I told you, and we all want it to become another Nifty. That is the ultimate objective of getting onto this product. As a portfolio diversification method, or wherein you would like to pay less margins and have uh, an important effect of both gold and silver on a single basket, right? So I'm just trying to get onto this presentation. Just give me a few seconds. Yeah, I think all of you can see the screen, whatever I'm trying to project. Of course, nothing starts with a disclaimer nowadays. I think only thing which has come out without a disclaimer is the COVID-19, whatever we are trying to face, and the entire world. What a situation we are in, right? So small, I can call it as a workshop. I can call it as a small webinar. Let's try and try and understand this. Okay. Now, before we get into the product, let us try and understand what are the different guidelines that has been issued by SEBI on designing of this index, because an index has to be constituted, right? You cannot have the ready index which is available and you can't go around with it, right? So the eligibility criteria, when we first approached SEBI for this product, they said the following criteria had to be met, and then only we could have this contract being released, maybe to the investors as such. Okay, so what are the different criteria? First criteria was that since we are a futures exchange, whatever index we are talking in equities, you have a very a wonderful stock market there, wherein you have the spot prices of the different stocks which have been traded on the exchange. But here on MCX, we basically trade on the future contracts. So our index basically would be on the future contracts, on the underlying future contracts which are running continuously, right? So SEBI said the future contract should be in existence for 12 months. Okay, so 12 months, when that particular contract should be in existence, and trading should be in at least 90% of the days. 90% of the days that particular contract should be have been trading. So for agriculture commodities, SEBI is told that at least you should have an ADT, average daily turnover of at least 75 crores, and metals should have an average daily turnover of around 500 crores. Okay, this is for the 80% of the constituents. Okay, now rebalancing, we have to be doing in commodities as you do twice or thrice or quarterly or half yearly in the case of the equity markets. So here rebalancing we generally do once in a year. That we have decided to do that in the month of January, for which the notification would be given to the members as well as the regulator in the month of October. Okay. Now coming to the weights, very important parts, like whenever you constitute an index, here the weightage of the different commodities or different equities, especially if you take Nifty, it plays a very important role. So what SEBI told us that there are two things which they have taken here in commodities. One is the liquidity value. So liquidity value, they said the minimum it should be 25%, but we have taken around 75% for the commodities. That means how this commodity has performed in the last 12 months. Okay, what is the kind of liquidity which was present in these commodities? That is very important. So 75% of the weightage is given to that, and the production value is another 25%. That means in the last 5 years, please listen to me carefully. To the last 5 years, what was the kind of production of those two commodities? Like for example, if you are talking about bullion index, which bullion index constitutes of gold and silver. So what is the kind of, like, gold and silver we don't produce? Okay, we have very minuscule mines which don't produce anything literally, and most of the gold and silver we have importing route. So we will see what is the kind of gold that or silver that has come into India. Whatever we have imported for the last 5 years, we give around 25% of the weightage to it. Okay, so these are the two important things that you should know. And there is one more concept of a rollover. Okay, now this concept of a rollover is not there in the case of equity markets, because the price discovery in the case of equity spot markets, it's a continuous process. Every day the prices of the stocks change. But here in the case of commodity futures as such, every commodity futures contract has got a expiry day, right? Each contract expires. So once the tender and the delivery period starts, once the contract expires, you will try and roll over to the next contract. So this rolling over should not have that kind of effect on the kind of index. Okay, whatever we have, that shocking incident should not be there wherever there is a change in the price to a very high differential. So rollover has to be done very carefully, and let us see how we do it as we go forward, right? So we have studied the kind of SEBI guidelines. Now let us try and understand what the basic differences between the equity index as well as the commodity index. Why we have put this slide onto this PPT is that for you to understand what is the basic difference between Nifty, because Nifty is one of the I can say it is the most traded index in the entire world. Okay, there is no index as basically the contracts on it, maybe on the futures side or the option side. There's no other country which is like India, wherein there is so much of demand for this particular product. In the sense, most of the people are very comfortable with it, especially the bank Nifty, the weekly kind of contracts, whatever NSE is introduced. Okay, now looking at the equity index, right? The basic difference is that here in the case of equities, the index type is basically calculated based on the free float market capitalization. That is, what is the number of free shares of the stock which is available, which is not held by anyone, maybe the promoter or maybe different entities in that particular company. So that free float market capitalization is for anyone who can buy and sell at any point in time, right? But if you look at the index in the other way, we are talking here about the excess return index. Okay, that means how a commodity is performed when you have compared to yesterday and how it is performed today. That means what is the kind of returns, whether the returns could be a negative return or it could be a positive return. What was the return on your particular commodity when you have compared that to yesterday? So that is what we call it as a excess return index, okay, which includes the future price returns as well as the rollover yield. That means whenever you are trying to roll over to the next contract, what is the kind of returns you're making? Whether you are making a positive return, whether you're making a negative returns, it depends on the price basically. Okay, so this basically tells you that whatever, please remember this, very, very important. Here in commodity index, we are talking about the excess returns, whatever we try and derive out of that particular commodity when you try and compare that to the one previous day. Okay. Okay. Now index constituents, of course, we are looking at cash price of the equity stock in the equity markets. Here we have commodity futures contracts. Okay. Now weights of the constituents we have already discussed. Here in case of equity index, it is on the market capitalization. Here on the case of commodity index, it is based on the liquidity as well as the production value, which we have discussed while discussing about the SEBI whatever guidelines they have given us. So need for index adjustments, whatever corporate actions happen in the equity markets, automatically when the news comes out, it gets adjusted in the index. Here we don't require any kind of adjustments, right? Rollover for index computation in the case of equity index, it is not applicable, as I told you, because there the kind of price discovery is a continuous process, and here it is applicable, right? For rebalancing equity markets, you do it semi-annually. Here you do it in the case of commodity index, you do it annually, as I told you. Rebalancing is done in the month of January, and for which the market will be told in the month of October itself. Okay. Now looking at the final settlement price. So how do you settle your Nifty contracts? So we'll look at the closing price of the underlying index on the expiry day. Since you have a very robust spot market there in equities, so every Thursday is every last Thursday of every month is the expiry. All of you, I think, would be knowing at this point in time. But here, in the case of say commodity index, it is very, very simple. We just look at the VWAP, that is volume weight average price of that particular two commodities. For example, if I'm talking about a bullion index, I'll be looking at the price of gold and silver between 4 and 5 p.m. on the last day or the expiry day. I will take that average, convert that into say index, and with that particular number, I'll close that particular index contract. Okay, so this is a very, very simple. I thought this is very important for you, so that you can make a distinction between the equity index as well as the commodity index. So going forward, okay. Now let us go a little bit in depth regarding this index. So how do you do? How do you constitute an index? Okay. Now this slide is all about trying to tell you that that if I want a basket of commodities, okay, on an index, first I have to find out the single commodity indices. So our single commodity indices have been calculated, okay, since December 31st, 2015, and we have given a base value of 10,000 for that, right? How you have given Nifty a base value of 1,000, here we have given a base value of 10,000, right? So the base year, remember, these indices have been calculated since December 31st, 2015. So if I have to have a sectorial index or a composite index, right, I should have calculated a single commodity indices. For example, if I'm talking about a bullion index, I'll have a separate commodity indices for gold. I'll have a separate commodity indices for silver. So when I get them together in terms of the weightage, which is basically allotted to both gold and silver, it constitutes an bullion index. I think I'm very clear on that. Same thing about composite index. Composite index will have bullion, we'll have say energy, we'll have base metals, we'll have agriculture commodities. All that will constitute a composite index. We will launch it over a period of time. But let us, for today, we will try and put our full concentration on the MCX iComdex bullion index. So going forward, it is just which I want to tell you that these indices are computed and disseminated in a real time. Okay, it is a continuous. There is no expiry for gold index, or there is no expiry for silver index. It keeps on, it keeps on gets computed on a continuous basis. Okay, and the single and the composite indices are built over single commodity indices. Okay, so basically, if you look at, they reflect the movements of the front month futures. So whatever futures contracts are there right after that, month which we are talking about, it basically says that rollover generally happens from the near to the next towards the expiry over 2 days. So the rollover period in say in commodity indices is 2 days. Okay, and this is prior to the staggered delivery of 5 days period in the near month. So I think all of you will understand the basis of this indices contract is that the future contracts of gold and silver. So gold and silver, gold has got 6 contracts, and we are talking about 1 kg gold, and we are talking about 30 kg silver. So gold has got 6 say futures contract, silver has got say 5 futures contract. So every contract will have a start date, every contract will have an end date. The last 5 days, both in gold and silver, the last 5 days of the contract between generally between 1st to 5th, earlier it was calendar days, now it is business days. The last 5 days are called as the tender and delivery period. That means if you are not a serious contender to take the delivery of both gold or silver, 1 kg or 30 kg, you have to, if you have bought, you have to sell, and you have to roll over to the next contract. If you have sold, you have to buy back, and you have to roll over to the next contract, because the moment your position is open on the first day of the tender and delivery period, if you're a buyer, if a seller comes and deposits say 1 kg of gold, if the the kind of deliveries are marked, then you have to take the delivery of gold or you will be penalized. So what happens is that in a futures contracts, people try and clear off the position, or most of the brokers, they don't allow the retail brokers to enter into the tender and delivery period, because your margins also will increase. The margins will increase by 5% of the first day, it becomes 10%, and it goes on, and like this for the 5 days you have to be paying 25% of the margins, which is very high. Okay, so this is very important for you to know. So your index contracts 2 days prior to the start of the tender and delivery period, it is called the rollover, and your contract expires minus 7 days, E minus 7, that is what we call it, from the end of the underlying futures contract. Okay, so if you look at the sectoral and commodity composite indices, so I told you already liquidity, we are giving 75% of the weightage, and the physical market size is 25%. This all this we have already discussed, right? Now let us come to the contract itself, right? Now let us look at the trading unit. So like how we have gold 1 kg, silver 30 kg, copper 2.5 metric tons, 2500 kg. So here the trading unit for the indices is basically based on the index and how many ever times that index could be traded. So we are looking at this contract as a pure retail basis, right? On a pure retail basis, we have discussed, we have deliberated, we have spoken to everyone, most of the stakeholders. We have decided to keep it 50 times the index value. That means to say that if your index value is around 14,000 now, 50 times of that becomes 7 lakhs. So your value of your one tradable contract on index is 7 lakhs. The tick size is 1 rupee. So 1 rupee movement can give you 50 rupees or it can take away 50 rupees. So this is not very hard on your pockets. Very simple contract. Margins will be around 5% or the span based margins, whatever we are collecting, depending on the volatility and the risk, whatever is involved in the pricing of the commodity. And we have a ELM, the extreme loss margin of around 1%. Okay, daily price limit as the underlying futures, whatever price limit is there. For example, for gold and silver, international commodities, as SEBI is prescribed, we have 9% of the price limit. But if it breaches 9%, and again if it is more volatile, then we again allow it for 3%. But there is no stop for international commodities at all for your daily price limit. So number of contracts, we have 12 contracts, 12 monthly contracts. All the contracts will be cash settled. That is the best part about this contract. You don't have to worry because you don't have to deal with deliveries. You don't have to deal with the margins which are required for the tender period and delivery period. Okay. Now, the final settlement price, as I told you, very simple. What we'll do is that on the expiry day, we will be looking at the volume weighted average price between 4 and 5. We'll just look at the simple average of that. Of the two constituents, we'll calculate the index based on that, and based on that particular number, that particular contract would be settled. Okay, position limits is around 1,000 lots for every client, or around 10,000 lots, or 15% of the market OI. Okay, now coming to the benefits of this contract. So what are the benefits? Best, I think, whatever when you think and look at it, right? Best think what you can use this particular contract is for portfolio diversification, because it has got low correlation with stocks. So I think all of us will understand that in my own study analysis for the last 13-14 years, I have seen that whenever your commodity markets are not doing well, equity markets do well, and vice versa. I think in this pandemic only, I think we have seen, you just see what was the price of gold in the month of February and what is the price of gold now. Because gold acts as a safe haven commodity. Whenever there is so much of volatility in the equity markets, people are not sure about the crude. People don't know when the second wave of COVID-19 is going to hit Europe as well as US. It is not coming to an end. We never know. Nothing we know. So whenever we don't know anything, and still when you just look at the indices, whenever you're trading, you could be always inversely correlated with the stock markets. So the best part is cash settlement. There's no problem of delivery or delivery period margins, no development of positions, applicability of development margins as you have in your option contracts. Tender and delivery period margins are also not applicable because we don't have that period here, and the break even you get in 2 ticks. So whatever the total cost, because we're not going to charge anything on this contract, so break even you can get it in even in 2 ticks. So this is a pictorial representation for you to understand better. Okay, you have the future contracts. You have gold 1 kg, you have silver 30 kg, okay, which are tradable. We have single commodity indices. You have gold and silver real time. It is for dissemination only, which you can see in the screen even now. If you open mcxindia.com, you have you have this disseminated on a daily basis. Each and every moment, whenever there is a change in the price of gold and silver, there will be apparently a change in the index. Okay, you have sectorial index, you have bullion index, that is futures all months, and monthly expiry, which is tradable. Okay, now for some of you who are interested, who may be interested in knowing how do you compute this index. See, generally, I mean, none of them tell you, because if you look at Nifty also, Nifty 50, do you know the weightages given to each of the stocks which are there in Nifty? Do you remember? Maybe you'll remember some big giants, HDFC or Reliance or Wipro or no any other stock which most of the banks, State Bank of India, right? But we don't remember the kind of weightage each of these stocks have when they're constituting an index like Nifty. Right, but here with iComdex computation, I think something you should know about it. So we thought we will give you a small brief on that. Very simple. This slide looks a little bit complicated with the formulas and all that. Very, very simple. As I told you, if you want to calculate the index or the single commodity indices from which we can derive a basket of single commodity indices, become a composite index, or it can become a sectorial index. Now, how do you calculate this index? So gold index GI, okay, we call it as GI. So we look at what was the gold index yesterday. Please, listen to me very carefully. We look at what was the index value of gold yesterday multiplied by what is the future price of gold today divided by what was the future price of gold yesterday. Very, very simple. Very, very simple. I'll tell you once more. If you want to calculate yourself the gold index, because everything is calculated and given, everything is done electronically, right? But still, if you want to understand, please remember, gold index value would be what was the gold index yesterday, T minus 1, that is trade day minus 1, multiplied by what is the future price of gold today, divided by what is the future price of gold yesterday. I told you, you remember, it's all about excess returns here. You're talking about excess returns of what you get when you compare that to yesterday. It's very, very simple. This is some numbers it's given. The price of gold on 29 June, 30th June, then you compare, then you arrive at the indices as 16,543. This is only of gold, right? This is just an example for that. Now, when you compare the kind of returns percentage, when you compare that with the future price as well as the index, you will be really surprised to know that whatever changes in the price of that particular say commodity, we are talking about gold here. See, they've calculated taking the gold prices from 22nd to 30th. So we had 47,944 and we have 48,762. That is an increase of around 1.71% in the price of gold. And if the indices are calculated using the same formula I just told you a few seconds back, it will be the same reflection of the change in the price of gold. So the returns in the constituents futures is equal to the returns in the index. So you can be very well assured that the index would behave how the underlying constituents have behaved. Yeah. So we were talking about rollover. See, we've already we have already spoken about this rollover. Trying to tell that because we have a futures contract which is expiring, right? And we have to get on with life. We have to get on along to the next contract. Okay. So here the rollover is very well explained. If you understand this one slide, I think you can really become masters in index, right? Now, you just look at it very carefully. I told you an index contract, okay, of MCX. We are talking about bullion index, Buldex, okay, which expires 7 days prior to the expiry of the underlying futures contract. So we will say that we have this June contract, which is expired on 5th. Let us look at the last 5 days, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. These are called as a tender and delivery period. That means if you're not a serious contender here, you're not supposed to be here. 28th and 29th, we are calling it as a rollover day. And index contract will expire on the 27th. Okay. Now, in these 2 days, we have to get on to the next contract. So we should know how we are going to take the weightage for the computation, right? So in this table down before, you have commodity or the index expiry. Okay. So index expiry, we are talking about a bullion index here. We are talking about the Jan contract. We are going to take the price of gold, right, in the month of February, and the price of silver we are going to take in the month of March. That means here, if you look at the 6 gold contracts are listed. Here, if you look at the 5 gold contracts are reflected. Now, if you come to October and November contract index expiry, we are going to take the price of gold of December contract and we are going to take the price of gold of December contract, silver contract here also. Same thing in the case of November. That means the nearest contract here, in order not to have any shock of the rollover of the difference in the prices, so we try and give importance to the near month contract. Okay. Now, if you look at this table as such, it looks very, very complicated. Don't worry about that. I'll explain to you in a very, very simple way. Okay. So please remember, coming back to the old slide, the contract expires on 27th, right? Now on 26th and 27th, we give 100% of weightage to the front month. Am I clear? We give front month contract, that is gold contract expiring on the June 5th. We give 100% of it. Here on the same day, we don't give any weightage to the August contract. August contract is the contract after say June, the next contract after June. But on the 28th May, okay, 28th day, we take 50% of the weightage to the June contract, and here we give 50% of the weightage to the August contract. On 29th and on 1st, we give 100% of the weightage to the August contract, and we'll forget the June contract. That means as we roll over, we have to ensure that in order not to have this shock of this peculiar price movements, we consider this rollover period as a very we consider that the rollover has to take place very safely, so that it should not hurt any market participants. Okay, so going forward, this is a sector, and this is just a calculation, nothing to bother about it. Okay, right now, if you look at the sectorial index, we are talking about bullion index. Please remember this. All of you should remember that we have calculated this along with a divisor here, right? And here, right now, when we are trying to calculate, gold is given a weightage of 70.52%. Please remember this, gold is 70.52% and silver is 29.48%. So almost around, it is around 70, 30, but 0.5%, you have to keep it in your mind. It's very, very simple, not very complicated to remember. Okay. So going forward, if you look at the trading cost, excuse me, if you look at the trading cost, approximate index value is around 14,000, which I told you. Which contract value, I told you 50 times 14,000 would be around, say, 7 lakhs. Profit per tick is, I told you, 1 rupee movement can give you 50 rupees, or it can take 50 rupees from you. Stamp duty would be, okay, that is around 0.002%, which was regularized by Government of India from 1st of July, which opens to around, say, 14 rupees from July. GST is around 18%. There is nothing, because right now we have not even charged 1 paisa for the options, even though options are launched for the last 3 years. Here also, I don't think so that we are going to charge you anything on the transaction cost of the exchange. Okay, so total cost will be around 84, and number of ticks would be around 1.68. So apart from the brokerage, what the brokers are going to charge, which we have also we are also trying to say that, okay, let us look at it for a certain period of time. So number of ticks for break even would be 1.68. That means in order to apart from the margins, whatever you pay, 5% plus ELM of around 1%, that is 6% margin for around say 42,000 rupees. For around 42,000 rupees of your margins, if you think that anyone gives a leverage of around even 10 times is normal, with 4,200 rupees, you could be doing this one trade in one lot of bullion index. So this is the DDR computation. I told you, very, very simple. We have just taken an example along with the price of the underlying, also along with the after taking the price of the underlying, we have converted that into an index. So very, very simple. As I told you, please remember the final settlement price is derived by taking the volume weighted average VWAP price between 4 and 5 p.m. on the expiry day, and we calculate the index based on the prices of gold and silver, and that is the end of it. So after 5 o'clock, that particular contract will not be available, but the next contract anyways would be available. So this is about the cyclical behavior, how both the bullion index as well as the metal index have behaved. Both of them, your base metals being an industrial commodity, whenever your industrial activity or the price of crude falls, they generally don't do well. That is the time when other commodities like gold and silver generally pick up. Now, looking at the underlying movement, and if you compare to that index, okay. Now, if there is any change of 10 rupees change, price change in terms of gold, so index would get affected by around 2.37 points. Similarly, if there is any, it's a movement of around 10 rupees. Here, the change would be around 0.61 points. And if there is a movement of 10 rupees both in gold as well as silver, the index would make a difference of around 2.98 points, or say 3 points. Okay, so then if you look at the correlation of what gold and silver has got, it has got around 74.5% correlation as of now, right? Now, earlier we were talking about portfolio diversification. See here, there is one example which is given, wherein they have taken, the performance of Nifty from July 19 to June 20. Okay, so they have just taken this period of July 19 to June 20, when 100% of the investment was made on Nifty. They got a negative return of around 13.18%. When they had 90% of Nifty and Bulldex 10%, a loss was reduced from 13% to minus 8%. They had 75% of Nifty and commodity index, that is Bulldex, they had taken 25%. The loss was reduced to minus 37%. And look at this, guys. Nifty 50% and Bulldex 50%. They ended up in getting 10.44% of the returns. Okay, this is something which is an eye opener. Okay, if you look at the Sharpe ratio, which was basically negative, became positive 23.59. That means to say that look at the effect of portfolio diversification. And this 1 year we have seen everything what the worst the world can see. So this is something this portfolio diversification would really apply, and people who are intelligent, who are into this markets, would always try and do these kind of trades. Okay, this is all for the algos. Nothing great for you here, right? Now, we have, we are on with another very important topic, what we have now, which is option on gold mini, or we call it as option on goods based on the spot market, right? I think before I start options on gold mini, I think we have covered in depth, each detail we have covered wonderfully well. Here in case of index, we are planning to launch index Bulldex, that is bullion index, by around second week of August next month. We'll try and launch the September month contract. Okay, so we will have some more exclusive events for FIRES. If people are interested, if they want to know more about this index, bullion index or the commodity indices, we could have one more event. But very important is this option on goods, guys. We have this contract live on Friday. Okay, so anyone who is there in this webinar today, I don't know how many guys are there. I've just been talking because I can't see all of you. I think all of you should participate on Friday. We are going to launch this contract. FIRES will download the script. They'll get the product ready for you. So as we talk more about it, let us try and understand this. What is this option on goods on with gold mini as the underlying? See, right now we have 5 contracts of options, right? On commodities. We have on gold, right? We have silver, we have crude oil, we have zinc, and we have copper. Okay. Now, due to the basic nature, the way options were constituted, the devolving mechanism, the nature of the underlying futures contracts, which are bi-monthly, except for crude oil, we have not achieved a great breakthrough. We have achieved a breakthrough in gold, but again, because the gold contracts are bi-monthly and the contracts almost each contract runs for a period of 6 months. And since this is a bi-monthly contract, now what happens is that the date for expiration is very high. So the theta is very high, so the premiums are high. So for people who thought that fine. Again, again, I cannot spend around 45,000 rupees on premiums trading for 1 kg gold. So here is a golden opportunity for all of you to be looking at gold mini options. Okay, we call it as gold mini options because I understand that it is on goods, but here the contract is made in such a way that anyone would for anyone it would be easy for them to enter and exit, right? This is because the last 5 days, okay, like how you have gold mini. First, let us try and understand the skeleton of the contract. Okay, then we go to the real contract as such. See, the last 5 days in the gold mini contract is also called as the tender and delivery period, right? Now, that is based on the futures contract. Here we are talking options which are based on the goods or the spot contract, whichever is there in Ahmedabad, because this is an Ahmedabad based contract. Okay. Now what happens is that getting into an options based on the underlying, no one would, unless and until you are a jeweler or you are an investor who wants to invest in gold, because there are a lot of ways to buy. There are a lot of ways to buy gold. So unless until you are a jeweler or an investor, you will, and you want to take delivery, none of the retail investors would want to get into that mode, right? They just want to buy and sell. They want to pay a premium, and one on the expiry day, right? Because we are talking about the European style of options on the which gets exercised on the last day, on the expiry day. Now, if you don't want that to happen, you can always square off, right? So there is no harm in doing that. Or you can give a contrary instruction saying that I don't want to get into the tender and delivery period unless and until you are a retail guy who's dealing with jewelry business. Let us look at this contract. Okay. Now, very, very simple. It is an option contract based on the goods or the spot price, right? The spot contract. But we can call it as gold mini options because for us all, for all practical purpose, what is important for option buyer and seller? The option buyer will be looking at what reduced cost or with what less cost or less premium he can pay to buy that particular option, right? And the seller of an option will always be thinking that how much money I can make by selling this option or writing this option. It's very, very simple. There is nothing more to an option contract. How you make dilly-dallying of one particular option, you have a put option, you have a cover put option. That all depends on an individual. But for people who want to pay less premium, who are looking at a very volatile and a safe commodity, this is the contract for retail customers to be in. So let us look at the contract. So what is the start date of the contract? So 6th day contract of the contract launch month, and if 6th is the holiday, of course the next day. Expiry day will be the 5th day. So we have combined the expiry of this contract along with the gold mini contracts. Okay. Now underlying quote. So what are we talking? So gold is, Ahmedabad is the biggest spot market for gold in India, right? So we are talking about Ahmedabad contract or the spot contract. Exercise style is European style, right? Which you can exercise only on the last day of the option. Strike price is 100. This is one of the very good feedbacks that we got from the industry also. The strike price is only 100. Strike interval will be 15 strikes should be there in the money, 1 at the money, okay? And you have 15 out of the money. So there will be totally 31 strikes, call European and say 31, put European. Okay. And if there are any more strikes which are required to be introduced, we'll be looking at that in the future. Profit or loss per, okay, yeah, tick size is only 50 paisa. Okay, tick size is only 50 paisa and profit or loss per tick is ₹5 and minimum tenure is a monthly option. So you have monthly gold options on the mini contract, which is 100 grams. Okay. Now, what is the similarities of this contract, the gold mini futures and the gold mini options also? So, if you look at the contract start day, 6th day of the contract launch month, which is the same with say gold mini futures, expiry is the same, right? It is also minimum tenure of monthly contract. So trading unit is same, 1 gold 100 grams bar, rupees per 10 grams, whatever the quote you see, everything is the same. Okay, everything is the same. Now, what is the basic advantage for anyone who has been dealing with gold mini 100 grams as well as gold 1 kg contract is that whoever is dealing with the futures market, whenever you come and do this, you get a margin benefit. You get a margin benefit of almost around 75% if you have a position in your option contract. Vis-a-vis your gold, underlying gold, say futures contract, underlying gold 100 gram futures contract, and even 1 kg option gold contracts. So this is the greatest advantage for any person who is dealing with the gold and silver contracts, where we get the margin benefit. Okay. Now this is the similarities. Okay. There's nothing great about this. Most of the contracts is the same. Now expiry mechanism at you exercise mechanism at expiry. Okay. Now here in equity markets, right? You have the different strikes. You have ITM, you are in the money. You have ATM and you have out of the money. But in commodity markets, 2 strikes above the ATM and 2 strikes below the ATM. These are called as the CTM strikes, close to the money strikes, which is not there in equity markets. Please listen to me carefully. 2 strikes above the ATM, 2 strikes below the ATM are called as CTM strikes. If you look at the exercise mechanism of different ITM, CTM, ATM and OTM strikes, let us try and understand now very carefully. All the in the money strikes, all that means you are trying to make money. Okay, all the in the money strikes generally gets exercised automatically on the last day, and they will be looking at the difference between the final settlement price and your strike price, and you can take the difference. Or else, if you want to get into the tender and delivery period from the last 5 days, you can give an explicit instruction. The same thing with the CTM strikes. Close to the money strikes, that means it is basically made to facilitate the hedgers that only the ATM should not be considered. Even 2 strikes above the ATM, 2 strikes below the ATM also should be considered in order to get into the delivery mode. Okay. CTM strikes, those people who are got stuck under CTM, they have to give an explicit instruction saying that whether they want to get into the delivery mode or not. Otherwise, even they'll be looking at what is the difference between the final settlement price as well as the strike price, and the difference would be settled within the exchange. Okay. Of course, all the OTM, out of the money strikes, anyway, they will expire worthless. So this is the exercise mechanism which these basically slides tell you, which I have told you, in depth. Okay. Now, anyone who wants to basically get into get into the delivery mode can always give an indication by giving an explicit instruction that yes, I would like to enter into the delivery period, because the moment you enter into the delivery period, you will have to start giving the delivery and tender period margins. That is 5% each day you will be charged. Okay. So this is the entire exercise mechanism, whatever is there in this particular contract. Now, if you look at the taxation, this is the taxation on exercise of gold mini. Okay, you have to, the buyer in the case of call option, the buyer has to spend. He spends almost around 37.50. Okay, which he gets, and the CTT is 0.001%, which comes to around 48 paisa. Almost around 38 rupees he has to pay. Wherein the seller has to pay only 2 rupees 40 paisa. In case of put options, it works out to around almost 25 rupees 48 paisa and 2 rupees 40 paisa for the seller. Okay. Now, taxation on exercise, sale of option on goods, you look at 0.05%, which is payable by the seller. Sale of option on goods wherein option is exercised, resulting in the actual delivery of goods. Look at the way they have treated this is 0.0001%, which is almost okay. That means ultimately SEBI wants the delivery of the goods to happen, and they have got their own reason to say that, right? Sale of goods in option in goods wherein option is exercised, resulting in the settlement otherwise than by the actual delivery. If the actual delivery of the goods doesn't take place, then he has to seriously pay a very heavy penalty of almost around 0.125%, which is the purchaser's view. Okay, so this is what I wanted to share about these two contracts, and this particular contract would be, this particular contract would be launched on Friday on 10th, and I think all of you should actually participate in this particular contract, which is, and I think if you look at the premiums would not be very high also. So premiums I think would be around 4,000 to 4,500 rupees for this contract, right? So this is what I wanted to share with you guys. Okay, the floor is open for discussion. I think Shubham, you can take lead, and if you think that you have any questions, answers, anything to be told, or even whatever apprehensions you have in mind, I'm Muttappa is there to answer all those, whatever doubts you have, or else you can put us a mail, or you can put us, some communication to Faiz. We can take it up. Thank you so much.
Yeah, hi sir. There are a few questions you can check in the chat.
Okay. Or can you just read it out to me?
So first question is, when you are going to launch this contract?
This gold, which one? Indices? Okay, I'll tell you both.
Yeah.
Indices contract.
Bullion indices.
Indices contract would be launched by second week of August next month, and we are going to launch the September index contract. We should be doing it before the day of independence, that is 15th. So this contract would be launched on that particular day. And gold options on mini contract of gold would be launched on 10th. That is the day after tomorrow. Today is Wednesday. Tomorrow is Thursday. On Friday, the contract will be available for trading. Yeah.
One more question on the same indices. Like, what will be the lot size for the contract?
The lot size will be 50 times the index value. So one lot would be 50 times the index value. Present index value is around 14,000. So if you multiply 14,000 into 50, the total contract value would be around 7 lakhs.
Can we hedge it in a way that we do in equity?
Yeah, right now, whatever you want to do with the options contract, you can do it here also. But in the case of index contracts, right now, SEBI is not given permission for this intra commodities margins. Okay. This I think we should get it through by another 15-20 days. We have applied very strongly to SEBI, saying that unless and until you give the margin benefit, people cannot come and hedge. Possibly it should happen.
Is the margin benefits available for this indices contract?
I just answered that question right now. We have applied to SEBI. We had actually applied earlier also. At that time, they didn't consider it very seriously. I think we have gone all out on convincing them that without margin benefit, it will be very difficult to run this contract because it is available in Nifty and it's available in the equity markets as well on other constituents or other products. So we have strongly applied, and we have we have put in all our efforts towards it.
We'll take one last question. Nitin want to know about expiry rollover in indices contract.
Come again?
Rollover in indices contract.
Yeah. Now, see, as I told you, I think he missed that particular slide when I was trying to explain rollover. See, if you look at the international markets, especially in the US as well as the UK, they have a rollover period of almost around 5 days, right? So 5 days because they don't want that shock in the change in the prices to be indicted very deeply in the value of the index. So here in case of the bullion index, we have decided to have a rollover period of 2 days. So this 2 days would come immediately after the start of the a particular month's index contracts. So if I have a index which is expiring on the 26th of, for example, say we are in the month of July. So 26th of July, my index contract is expiring. 27th and 28th would be the 2 rollover days. Wherein on the first day, I'll be taking only 50% of the weightage toward the nearest month contract, and on the last day, I'll be giving 100% of the weightage to the next month contract.
Okay. So one last question. Ahmed want to ask is there any VIX index for Buldex in like we have in Nifty?
No, we don't have anything like that right now.
Okay. So I think so that's it from our side. Thanks for joining the webinar. I hope attendees got a lot of info about upcoming index future contract, and that will help them to trade them whenever the exchange is going to launch. So that's it from our side. Thanks for joining the webinar. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Shubham. Thank you so much. I take this opportunity to thank Yashas and Tejas. I know them from quite a period of time now. Thank you so much, and all the best to Fires. We are always with the exchange, and anything you require to know about commodities so that you could be safe. First thing is that please keep yourself safe, keep a social distance, and we have a lot of more life to go. Never think that 2020 is the end of the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.